scrum half sitting out. There was always going to be a prop sitting out, which we kind of knew and hoped was going to be Steven Kitsov. The question was who was going to be the unlucky player apart from that's going to sit out. It turned out to Lua Diago because of sickness. But for me, what was your sort of initial reaction before we sort of? I want to talk a little about the scrum half situation, but just as overall, when you looked at that team, what did you say?
Yeah, no, to the team selection overall, it was probably mixed. I think there was the feeling we spoke about earlier, that sort of maybe craving a bit of consistency and saying, look, we start putting 2-3 performances together that look good. Okay, then we can start to try experimenting. So the part of me was like, oh, are we changing it up again? But then another part of me was very excited. I mean, again, we're blessed with great depth and different oaks in different positions, and there's like a lot of exciting talent on the field. We're not gonna we're not gonna hone in on one particular pairing like the Williams and Liebok thing of last week, just in case that whole disaster happens again. And as you said, we'll get to the 9 situation now, but it is exciting to see Liebok at 10. I think they, hopefully the coaches are saying, right, we've got faith in you in this position. Go out, show us what you can do. But because again, Reese and I were there for that game last week, or with you guys here on Favor Rugby, and Reese asked me at halftime or just before the half, what do you think of Liebok's performance? And I couldn't really tell you what he did. He just was there. And so hopefully, again, if we start to get a bit more on front football, we can start to see a bit more of that Liebok that we're so used to, that we're used to seeing in the other competitions. But no, Steve, I think overall exciting. I think it's different. It's experimental. That's clearly what it is. And I think we accept it for what it is. So let's see if the experiment works.
But also I'm thinking, guys, if Australia, for some miracle, had beaten the All Blacks and we had a chance to win, I think we wouldn't have seen that performance. And if we have a plan, like you said, if the team sheet's basically been predetermined, I think there was a bit of motivation levels lacking there. It seemed like it kind of ended up seeming like it was a little bit of a hit out. But if we were playing for the Rugby Championship, I think we would have got into a 20-point lead and never surrendered that lead. So I think that was just what looked like was missing there. The guys just kind of packed up shop at 60 minutes and we're moving on to the next game.
I also think, and when he's excused, but I do think that Grant Williams thing just completely derailed everything. I think he's such a different scrum up to all the other ones that there must have been a whole different game plan and idea on the cards, and then it kind of all just went haywire. But Roots this weekend in Argentina, it's a tough place to play. Augustin Creevy is set to become the. I was actually checking to see if they've actually named the team. It should be right now. He's set to become the first Argentinian player ever to reach 100 caps. I mean, in Argentina with an emotional occasion, not a fun place to play rugby. Do we have a chance? And are we favourites, or do you think this is a game where the Argentina are going to come out firing and it's going to be a lot to deal with?
I think the momentum for Argentina would be in the fact how they fought back in the last game where we narrowly won. So for them, they're going to draw on that sort of to create that passion and intensity. For me, the issue would be with our combinations and how we've changed the team so much from one week to another. So I don't want to not back the boys to pull it through on Saturday, but I think it's going to be a real challenge because looking ahead to the World Cup, this is where all the roads meet now. The final gates open here at these warm-up fixtures. And it'll be interesting to see what sort of game plan South Africa employ, obviously with the intention of mind of winning the game, but then also looking at the final sort of jigsaw pieces of the puzzle coming together for whichever players they had in mind for the World Cup. So it's that sort of balance. But again, it's having faith in the coaches and getting us behind South Africa. We've got more experience, and I'm backing us to win this weekend, but I don't think by any means it's going to be easy.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And I think a bit like what I was kind of saying last week is we can sit there and acknowledge, and I was saying, I was kind of using it wasn't using as justification, but I was saying, for example, last week we mustn't pretend like Argentina are a bad team. They are a quality side. They're only going to get better. They've got a lot of players. So, for example, looking at the team now this weekend, Santiago Cordero is back, who's an absolute demon when he wants to be. So they've got a couple of nice players into this weekend. They've gone pretty consistent with their side. But so it's a good side, but it's one of those things as well. Yes, sit there going, yeah, but at the end of the day, we can't sit there and say it's a good side. We've got to get to that mentality, that ruthlessness of, yes, it's a good side. We're still going to beat them. Yes, it's an emotional occasion. We're going to be able to shut that out. We're going to beat them, because that's kind of what the quality sides can do. I titled this video, "The coaches under pressure?" And there's been a lot of knee-jerk reaction. They always are. Springbok fans are very emotional supporters. We are South Africans. We're very emotional. It's, the load shedding with its explosions. We've got earthquakes. We've got tornadoes happening. It's a tough time down here, so you can't really blame us for being emotional. But a lot of people were freaking out about it. And in fact, a lot of people last week were saying that last week's performance kind of shows you won't win the World Cup, which I thought was a hell of a conclusion to make. What kind of pressure are the coaches under, Christian? I mean, you said, for example, you trust them. Are they under pressure, or do you think they're sitting in the desk going, we've got a plan, we know how to win the World Cup?
No, they can absolutely not be under pressure at this point in time, what they've done and what they've done with the Springbok team. I think we all know what they have been doing. I mean, obviously, would love to know what the thought process is that we want to chop and change, when I would have been picking close to a similar team like New Zealand have been. And if we had won, maybe this was the game we would change, like probably, and then go into the final two with the strongest team. No, I don't think they're under pressure. It's not the coaches that I'm worried about. Okay, there are some players I'm worried about. So I'm also thinking about arm. I'm thinking about some of those forwards. I am a little bit worried about form, but I'm not to say that these players aren't capable of bringing that back and when it matters. So no, I don't think they're under pressure. What the pressure is the draw. The Boks don't have the right to have the draw. The draw is going to defeat us if we lose, because we're going to have to play some really big back-to-back games, and it's going to be tough for any team to do that, even New Zealand and Ireland and France. I just don't know that this team will be able to do that. It's going to be very tough. Once you get through all of that, then you got a semi and a final. It's brutal. So I don't think it's the team and the coaches. I think we got a very good chance, but no. If that's in short, I don't think there's pressure. I think we got to back the boys, we back the squad, we got a great squad, and we just go give it the best shot.
Yeah, I looked. I mean, that whole sort of the group thing. Jacques spoke about the fact that they're targeting that Scotland game. They're saying if they can win that Scotland game, that changes it a lot, because they will rotate against Romania. We kind of know this because we should be able to rotate against Romania and win. And then you go full strength against Ireland, and if you lose against that Ireland side, then you have to go full strength against Tonga. But you beat that Ireland side, you can probably afford to rotate against Tonga. So it's going to be amazing how it kind of all plays out.
Well, yeah, I'm worried about I remember Samoa, when Samoa took out Jean de Villiers in 2007. I can see some Tongan taking out a player of the
which is why we have to beat Ireland, because if we beat Ireland, it means you can go and take your big players and say, right, go forth and sit in there, and you go and say, right, Andreas days, you're gonna get hammered, but go forth. Go and nail a couple
take it for the team, buddy.
Yeah,
just take it for the team.
Exactly. I want to get into the scrum half thing. In terms of focusing on selection, there's a lot of selection we could talk about. I don't think there's much point in spending time talking about a Jean-Luc Dupree and Evan Rose, who I don't think are going to the World Cup. But I want to talk about the scrum half thing, because a year ago, Jaden Henderson looked like we would not only be going to the World Cup, but starting at the way he'd actually benched Faf de Klerk, and Faf actually did a bit of a fire under Faf's ass. He started to play a lot better. Not involved this weekend. Jacques Nienaber basically saying, they did see him last week. They know exactly what he brings. They've got information about him, and saying, this doesn't mean he's not going to the World Cup at all. He was unlucky not to get selected. Surely you will not be in a World Cup squad having played 0 Springbok minutes this year and no rugby since about February.
It would be a wild card if they did select him, because as you said, he's not got any minutes under his belt, and especially with the combinations in the squad and all that kind of stuff. I mean, again, it might be a freak accident, like the issue with Grant Williams now and him being out, that they might feel like, crap, we actually have to take someone on. But no, his not fall from grace or fall from form, but the fact that he's fallen out of the Springbok squad, so drastically, has been quite a shock. As you said, a year ago, whatever, he was almost guaranteed to start, ahead of Faf, and then it's just sort of fallen off. So yeah, very, very interesting selection sort of happening there, and definitely something. I mean, I don't know. Ask me to put money on it. I don't see him making the World Cup squad, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah, well, we all know that Chris would like to take Kobus Raylock ahead of him. So We don't need
Well,
to
it's
go
a
ahead.
no-brainer. I don't even know why we're having this discussion.
I genuinely think if Grant Williams had a stormer last weekend,
yes,
I do think Cobus Reynolds' place would have actually been, and Grant Henderson was going to play this weekend. I think it would have been quite interesting.
Yeah. But just talk about quick. Maybe I know you're going to go on Stevie, but who are we selecting 9-10? First big game against Ireland. Who's the starter 9-10?
Against Ireland or Scotland?
Ireland. The big. Oh,
Scotland's the first game.
Obviously, we're going to be picking our best sides. Okay, Scotland.
So Scotland. Well, I think it's got to be Faf Andre at this stage. As long as Andre gets back to full fitness.
And Libbok is the 10 if he's not around.
Yeah, unfortunately it'll be a bit like the last World Cup where Libbok will play Romania and maybe he'll play Tonga. He won't make a bench. I think David Williams says will be our player 23 for every single match of the World Cup, and I think Pollard will start for every gap match bar like a Romania. Yeah, Ruud, what do you reckon? The 9-10.
So for me, I'm a big Grant Williams fan. So last week put a real corkscrew and a little screw in the spokes because I would have loved to have seen a scenario where Grant Williams and Handré Pollard have the game against New Zealand together. But just touching on the last game this coming weekend, against Argentina, we've beaten New Zealand as world champions in New Zealand. We've beaten Australia, we've beaten France, we've beaten England on their home turf. We surely also can't be having a discussion whether we're going to win this weekend. So obviously there are trials and errors. Coaches want to see things. But from my side, we have to get into the mentality that we are world champions and that from here on in, we're going to win every game. Whatever combination, we've got it sorted. We have faith.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. And I think that is probably why people have said that this World Cup, this current generation of Springboks are not one of the great teams. Well, maybe they are one of the great teams, but not the greatest team, compared to like the New Zealand dominance in 2011, 2015, because they haven't had that consistency where they have been able to beat teams. I mean, I think there's a stat actually that I think we've only won like 3 big tests in a row, like once or twice since the last World Cup. We kind of tend to drop games here and there. Look, I think it's very difficult to compare generations given the fact that there was the COVID year of no rugby. There was the British and Irish Lions tour, which was behind closed doors. And so we haven't had the ideal setting in between these years. Very different situation to what was happening 10 years ago. But do you think that's fair? And do you think that's why maybe there is a little bit of doubt is that we haven't been able to, since becoming world champions, establish ourselves as the gold standard team,
I mean, like we were world champions in 2019. I always find it very interesting how that title, I know it only happens every 4 years, but how that title sort of stays with you for that time where it's like,
haunts you.
Yeah, absolutely. And teams aren't in the same form they were when they became world champions. So, it's a lovely badge to have, and they obviously deserve it at the time. But for me, as soon as that World Cup is over, you almost stop being world champions. I know it sounds ridiculous, but you have to continually prove that you are world champions, and you do that by beating every other team, which we, necessarily haven't done, but we did in the World Cup. So, if you ask me who's looking like world champions, I'd point to Ireland and France because they've been the most consistent, sort of playing all that time. But I hear it. I understand it's a mentality thing. You've got that badge, you've got the target on your back, everyone's coming for you. We spoke about last week how the Boks tend to perform better if they are sort of in an underdog position as well. So I don't think this necessarily hurts us too much. I think they will savor the fact that actually they're not, seen as going in as favorites, and they'll have a point to prove and a chip on the shoulder. So I think we're going in with fire in the bellies and hopefully something to prove. I think that's when we really come into our own.
Yeah, and let's hope sort of the stars of the alliance we can kind of go into the World Cup with that. They've written. I mean, you can just hear the speeches. Do it for the load shedding. They don't respect us. They've written us off. Everyone's pulling up the works in the change room there. Rusty Russ was saying, "Do it for the gas explosion." Jackie was saying, "Do it for the, all the issues." So we do kind of need a retro, don't we? 1995. Nelson Mandela saying, "Unite the the cause. There was load shedding of 2007, I think, actually. So maybe it actually bodes well that we're probably going to be at about stage 10 by the time we get to the World Cup. I feel like the government's sort of building us towards creating Chasing the Sun version 2.0.
Yes,
I mean, I've been calling, so I'm not changing my tune. I know, Roots, you might not like this because I'm loving your optimism, but I'm not seeing us going past the quarterfinals. I'm sorry if it's France or New Zealand, but if we do, can you imagine we get through Ireland, France, New Zealand semi, and we only to flip and lose to the Aussies in the final? That'll just be.
No, if we get
Chris, did you ever hear Nigel Owens ridicule Chris Robshaw when there was a decision? He's like, Christopher.
Is that what you wanted to do to me now?
Yeah.
Disorder in the ranks here. We're gonna have the celebrity boxing match between Chris and Rudes.
Let's talk in the build up to the quarter. If God forbid we get to bloody quarters, obviously let's talk in the build up to the quarters. I might have a different tune.
Yeah, I suppose it also depends on what we see during the group stages.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what I mean. Exactly. It's so hard to call right now with what's still up ahead. It's a long way away, the quarterfinals there.
Yeah. Well, now speaking of calling, Chris, it is your time. And before we move on to the weekend's action and lots and lots of weekend action after a very quiet weekend last weekend by comparison, it's everything stock. But we are moving towards our betting segment, which is brought to you, ladies and gentlemen, by Boyle Sports. They have just launched in the country. They are new. And I promise you, please do get your comments in. By the way, we will be going to the comments after this. But we are now partnered officially with Boyle Sports, who are powering the show. And please do go and support them. Well, first not even support them. Get on the Chris train. Yeah, as you can see, the season record is still pretty decent. And we're now going to use the Boyle Sports for this segment. The link is in the description. I'm going to put it into the chat whilst Chris takes us through his bets for the weekend. But yeah, there's a pretty cool sign-up special. You can get a free bet based to the value of whatever you deposit, up to 1,000 Rand when you sign up. So go and get that sorted on Boyle Sports. And Chris, tell us where we're putting our money this weekend.
Yeah, so we'll do a recap as much as I don't want to, because as you can see, that double 3 weeks ago was an absolute nightmare. That was South Africa plus 10 against New Zealand. We losing by 15, and then had Aussies to beat the Argentinians, and we all know what happened there. So that was a damn squid, unfortunately. But I think if I can recall, I said I wasn't overly confident. So it was a 1 or 2, not even a 1 unit play, I think. So we didn't lose too much there. And the season record is still, that's pretty decent. Steve, we'll take that return on investment. We've got quite a few units. So yeah, let's move on to this week. So yeah, using Boyles now. So obviously I'm using the markets that are available at time of going to show. And I try to pick out obviously what's my best at this point in time. I think we haven't touched it, but yeah, the MPC, one of my favorite competitions and betting competitions, starts this week. So tomorrow it kicks off with Tasman versus Otago. Tasman generally have a good record. They didn't do too well last season. But to kick it off at home, definitely the stronger team. Just taking them on the win. Yeah, the cap was 9 when I was actually looking at these bets, and then it moved out to 12 at showtime. So we lost a bit of value on Tasman. We would have got about 2.40 for this bet, but the money came for Tasman, so that makes me also a little bit more confident that we're definitely on the right side here, because Otago away form is generally not good. So comfortable with that. And maybe this is controversial, but I don't think it is. This is just purely my rugby and betting brain. I'm going for Oz plus 24.5 points here. Yes, they got hammered last week, but the teams that have been picked, Oz actually have picked a closer team than back-to-back teams, which is a good thing for me. New Zealand have won, and I just remember betting on these games when Australia do run New Zealand close. It's usually the third better slow when New Zealand have already won. And New Zealand have made changes. They've run them close, and they have actually beaten them on occasions in Hong Kong, if I can remember. So I think 24 is just too many points and might seem scary, but I'm calling a New Zealand 10-15 point win here. So I like this cap to be covered. So that's a double. We'll go 2.5 units here, medium confidence here. get some units back after last week, 2.5 units, and then I've put a lean in there because I've shown
before
you guys will
before
do it.
before you describe the lean, can you just explain what a lean is to people?
So a lean is so when a punter bets, so that double is like an official punt, is official pick. I'm officially picking it. I'm actually putting money down. That's my punt. A lean is something that you're not sure yet. You're looking at that market, but you haven't pulled the trigger yet. If you want to bet on it, and you wouldn't usually put it to your record. So that's why I wouldn't add it to the record, because I haven't decided if it's official. Because this is also more a field bet. Like I think Oz will come out hard. I think Oz will get a try and a penalty at least to cover that 10 points. I quite like them to break 10 this week, and they won 7. Last week I thought it was going to be good as well. They only got 7. They missed that. Carter missed the penalty in front of the poles, and that's the bet in. So just a lean to go on the half time. So if anyone's interested, I quite like that, but we won't put it to the record this week. Let's just build the units up again, and then we'll go bigger later in the year.
Oh, there we go. Well, thank you very much, Chris, and big shout out to Boyle Sports. I'm actually carrying on Boyle Sports right now, having a look, and I'm actually going to share my screen in a little bit, and we can actually have a look at some of the odds which are being put out there, and I think that we're going to use that base as our basis, because we have to talk about some more rugby this weekend, because the Summer Nations series officially kicks off, ladies and gentlemen. There is France, Scotland, which has got my eye. There's England, Wales, both very experimental teams, which I think will be fun to watch. And then Italy are going to pump Ireland, which is going to be fun as well. And we'll catch the highlights of that, because that's unfortunately at the same time as the Bok game. But while I bring it up, where's a couple of interesting games? New Zealand, Australia. Let's start with that one. The fact that we've spoken about a little bit. But Eddie Jones backing his boys. He's actually captain, Take McDermott. And as I said, let's go to Wales. He disappears. You know, I mean, you got to love. I mean, if he's not willing to make a punt, you know, then at least you could just tell us. Well, then, Reese, we'll go to you. Eddie Jones has backed a lot of the same team. He's backed Carter Gordon once again. He said that, you know, fly halves take time to settle in, and so he wants to back him. And he's actually given the captaincy to Take McDermott, which I thought was an interesting decision. Do Australia have a chance, or do you think that this is just Eddie Jones covering his bases in case, you know, there are injuries and stuff in the World Cup?
I think he's getting a bit of a difficult time at the moment from the Australian media and international media, and rightfully so. Australia have been under the pump, and he's come back sort of with ambition, and his mantra has been that they're out there to win the World Cup. So for them, winning this game is crucial to sort of win over the public opinion and get the support behind them. In terms of their selections, like you mentioned, it's pretty much the same. Whereas New Zealand have got more of an experimental team. They've got, I think, 3 debutants in their side. So if they were as fragile as anything, it would be this weekend. But judging from their winning mentality and the momentum that they've had, I think it's going to be a real challenge. And again, mounting pressure for Eddie Jones leading up to the World Cup. But again, they're in the group with all those weird sides. So they're on that side of the draw where I don't think he feels the pressure as much as the coaches are on our side of the draw.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, in terms of that game, as you can see, Australia being given a massive chance by the bookies to beat them, sitting at 12 there, that market for Australia and New Zealand. Chris, do you think that's a fair thing, or do you think do you think Australia have got a bit better than a 12-1 chance?
Yeah, no, it's maybe worth a small punt if you fancy it.
I must admit, I do fancy it, because I'm all for calling the upset. People will know that about me, and one of them hasn't really come through so far this season.
I'll be honest, that handicap, I think it's 22.5. For me, that's too high. I know it seems scary, but it's just all the bettors, all the rugby I've watched, and like I say, maybe with that, like we're saying, there's pressure on Eddie Jones, but at the same time, is there pressure? Because I mean, I don't think anyone's going to expect much of them, maybe. And I think, you know, when these teams, New Zealand, for me, New Zealand, they've built a bit of momentum on that team they had been picking. When they've picked different teams, like in the past year or 2 years, they're not as strong and as cohesive. So I think this is a great opportunity for Australia. I believe they're going to run them close. I don't know if they're going to win, but that handicap for me is way too high. So if anyone on the show are punters, I've given that in a double, but happily take that plus 22 if you want to have a little punt on the game.
Right, fair enough. Right, well, Wes is back, which means I get to talk to him about some of the European games happening. And let's talk about, let's kind of go through it. So Scotland versus France, and Scotland at home. This for me is a very interesting market, and again, maybe something need to go to Chris to sort of talk about it a little bit. But Wes, I mean, it's a Scottish side. It's not a bad Scottish side. It's pretty close to being as strong as they can. Finn Russell, the best flyer from the world, is captaining it.
You've only said that because Reese is not here to say Richie Mo'unga and
don't come here with Richie Mo'unga. Comes in with 3 good games this year, and 2 good games this year, and all of a sudden he's back to being the best. Finn Russell, the GOAT, captaining Scotland. I would say to the World Cup, except for the fact that would mean we're probably going to get knocked out. So.
Is Mo'unga not as good as Intermac? Or are we not Intermac fans?
Well, as I said, I thought it was a wild decision for Reese to come out and say that Mo'unga was clear.
Yeah, no, I can't defend him. I know he's watching, so Reese, get in the comments and let us know.
Yeah, exactly. Defend yourself. But look, I mean, it's a very experimental French side. There are 33 debutants. There's no players from La Rochelle and Toulouse. So no Dupont, no Intermac, no Aldrit. Most of them are missing. An opportunity for Scotland, Wes, and if they win, yes, people will say, "Oh, it wasn't the best French side," but a win's a win, as they say.
Absolutely, win is absolutely a win. But I think if we were trying to put ourselves in the shoes of the French fans, we're probably viewing it quite similar to what the South Africans are thinking about our game this weekend. As you said, very experimental. There's nothing to lose on the line here. Obviously, you always want to win, but if you were going to lose a game and gain some knowledge about your players, this is maybe the game to do it in. Scotland, I think, will be feeling sort of very, very different. They will be wanting to win this, to get that confidence, to solidify their side, potentially work out those small creases. And I think, for us South Africans, it's a massive booster in information, right? We're going to see the Scottish side sort of close to the World Cup. That is going to be our big first opening game. So, as you said, eyes absolutely glued to this one.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so Steve, you're talking about Russell. I don't know if you watched your mighty Italy last week. They didn't win an international match, but anyway, this guy Healy was playing 10. He looked all right, actually. I don't know if you got to catch the game.
Yeah,
Russell is the GOAT, but I had he actually played all right.
The heir apparent.
Yeah. So I mean, yes, I think Scotland have these players, but I think a lot of it's Scotland's thing is the mentality. It's like they don't believe they are winners when they actually have the capability. They have more ability. I'm just going to say that than Italy. I think there's more talent there, but they just when it comes to the crunch,
they are fifth in the world for a reason. To be fair.
Yeah. They score some good tries when they put it together. They're good.
Nah, for me,
I think you're right. I think this is an opportunity. I think Scotland might win this game. I think it's.
I think Scotland are aside. It's a bit like Argentina. When they win, it's always an entertaining win. They never win boring. It's always like really cool tries, really cool moments. Usually it's Stuart Hogg and Finn Russell just doing some obscene things when they rock up with their like annual masterclass where people sit there going like, "What is happening?" I know Stuart Hogg for me is a massive loss for them, both from a personality and a playing perspective. But I do think that there's every chance they could get a result this weekend. And as I said, I think the big thing is obviously Rassie and Jark will be PVRing that and breaking that down a lot on the weekend.
Hogg gets into this situation is really sad because at one stage he was arguably one of the best players in the world at his palm. It's a sad state of affairs that he's felt that he's had to call it quits before this World Cup because with that Scottish side, I still think them letting go over and Carter was their biggest mistake. I mean, they were Stuart Townsend's fan, but that was the most ridiculous thing. He got them on a nice upward trend. They still had Carter and they still had Hoggy. I think they would have been massive players.
But for me, two teams who are not playing particularly well, and also, I wouldn't say as experimental, maybe. Actually, it's actually probably both quite experimental. Rudes, Wales versus England. Wales have got a couple of debutants. They've got a young 10 in Sam Costello. Very, very exciting. Cool little 10. Very keen to see how he goes in the international thing. It's also life after the likes of Adam Jones and no Justin Tipuric, which breaks my heart. One of my favourite players to watch. But then in England side, Marcus Smith at 10. George Ford back in 23 off the bench. No Owen Farrell, no Mario Itoje, missing a couple of players. How are we seeing this one play out?
To be honest with you, since the departure of Eddie Jones at England, I think the wind has been blown out of England's sails. So as much as they do have sort of a few players like the Marcus Smith, for example, they have the talented, big, strong wingers, Kokani Sanga, for example. I'm not sure that we as South Africans have anything to be concerned about when it comes to semi-final time. I say semi-final time because South Africa is going to beat New Zealand in the quarterfinals, and then we're going to go ahead and face one of these punk boys in the semi-final. And for me, Wales, we've done them already in a few World Cups, so I'm not too concerned. It's going to be interesting to watch them play out and fiddle and faff against one another. But for me as South Africa, this weekend leading up to the World Cup, far more important. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. England, Wales, good luck.
Chris, talk to me about the Warren Gatland situation and the Wales cock-up shit show. I mean, there's lots of different ways you can... And that's putting it politely, to be honest, because it has been such a ridiculous thing. How does Warren Gatland, who literally even said if he knew about what was going on, he would have actually not taken the job. How does he come into this environment and really... A Welsh side, which... They've got players, you know. The fact that they've all departed and all picking up very nice contracts all over the world, they've got the personnel to be pretty good. We saw it firsthand last year. How does he get them? How does he make them competitive before the World Cup? Can he make them competitive before the World Cup?
I don't know. I mean, I admit I got on the Gatland train at the beginning of the Six Nations. I had some pants and calling better Welsh performances up front, but they got blown away the first half against Ireland and most of the tournament. They were shocking, and I don't know. Like you say, it's I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the best Welsh side. Obviously, those Grand Slam winning Wales sides were really good, and I keep harping. They were 100 potted missed kick away from probably making that final in 2019. You know, they had some really good moments, and but they're just not this. Yeah, there's something not right at Welsh rugby, and it's gone through the whole system there. And the players seem disillusioned. I mean, if Gatland's saying that as well out loud, I mean, that's not going to install much confidence into them. So I'm not giving Wales much of a chance, even though some. I mean, okay, it was I think it was Sam Warburton. He's really convinced they get into the semis, but I don't know. I don't see it. I don't have an answer. Welsh rugby is broken at the moment, and I don't want it to be broken. I want all those home nations to always stay strong. So I really hope that they can put it around. I mean, let's face it, English rugby is also a little bit worrying at the moment as well.
And not just the national team. The Premiership is for, I mean, for 3 teams going.
Yeah, but also grassroots, it's dying, school grass. So it is worrying.
Unlike Australia, where Eddie Jones is saying we've got to make the kids play rugby again. That's this big mantra. It's the only thing he can say at the moment. Ireland versus Italy. How does Ireland conquer the mighty Italy, who have got Paolo Garbizzi, who could also be one of the best 10s in the world if it wasn't when Finn Russell and Johnny Sexton retire and Alton Yankees is no longer part of the fray, so potentially could be the best half in the world in about 12 months' time.
You wake up now. You can wake up.
It would just be fantastic if Italy won. I know, but it would be glorious. No, I think I mean, geez.
I mean, they're only being given 16.5. 5 points. Look at it.
Lots of money to be made. Lots of money to be made. On the other hand, I mean, just imagine. What if? No, I think it's going to be very straightforward. I think, the Italians will see this as an opportunity to test what they've got, to go out there and put the fire in the belly, but fire in the belly doesn't win you the games. I think Ireland will like to see their combinations, like their moves, test out maybe training ground stuff in a game scenario. I don't think they'll be too stressed, and it's gonna be one-way traffic potentially, but who knows?
Hey, just back my boys, guys. We're gonna come back and talk about the spirited Italian performance.
But Stevie, like I said, I know we're picking up the bet in it. I mean, I didn't mention these warm-up games because they are warm-ups, and you don't really see full intensity games in these ones. So that's why I'm not sticking my neck out. But as an underdog backer yourself, this is an opportunity to back those teams. I wouldn't do it. I'm too conservative. I couldn't do it. But if anyone wants to put small stakes on these underdogs, this is the right opportunity, the right spots to do it. But I won't be getting involved.
When do you think? I mean, do you think that's the case for all the World Cup games, or do you think it is one of those like in 2 weeks' time, where suddenly you're 3 weeks out from the World Cup? Do they become a little bit maybe easier to sort of punt because they're getting teams stronger, or do you think it's one of those things that a lottery up from now until the World Cup you're not going to call much?
Yeah, it's all personal preference, and to be honest, I love meaningful international matches. Like that's what I've bet for a long time. One of most successes. So I leave it alone, and World Cup's one of my favorite betting tournaments. I love it. I've done well in the past, so I'll just sit at the moment and watch it. And watch it. NPC starting its first week. I don't also go big first rounds of these competitions, so lots of observing this week for me. See how people get on. Yeah.
Right, well, fair enough. So, in terms of our coverage for this weekend, there will be, as you guys always know, lots and lots of coverage. So we will have a live match tracker for New Zealand versus Australia. That does start at 4:30 in the morning, which is an ungodly hour. And unfortunately, I'm going to be in a bus about an hour late on my way to play golf in another province. So I will not be covering that game. So we will have a match tracker for that. We will be live for Scotland versus France. Carl will be taking you through that from Scotland, in fact. Then Wes will be making his Watchalong debut, as they would say. He'll be taking you through Wales versus England. So make sure you come. We're all going to jump on and absolutely rip them apart on the stream. And,
No, I know the internet is a very forgiving place. So
at least it's only Wales, England. You know, Nick, you could be getting Tonga and Samoa, and you have to start naming, some of the names which are longer than like the alphabet. So at least Wales, England, pretty straightforward. So no pressure.
Yeah.
And then Rudes, he's got the flag behind him. He will be with you this weekend for Argentina versus South Africa. It'll not be me. I know you guys miss me dearly. Every now and again, I do have to take a Springbok game off. This will, touch wood, be the last one I'll take off for a long time. But you'll be in the very capable hands of Rudes for what we hopefully will see is a very entertaining game. And,
surely now.
No, there we go. As I said, and Rudes' optimism is going to come through on the stream. My mojo has not been working for the last 2 weeks. I backed us to beat New Zealand, didn't work. I backed us to really go and put the hammer down, it didn't work. So hopefully Rudes' optimistic mojo will get the box operating on Saturday night.
So one day I'm going to do it, Steve, and I'm going to put a lot of money on that game because then you're going to. You might get the channel banned because I don't know what's going to come out my mouth if my bets start losing because you don't want to see it. I'll do it just for entertainment. I'll do it for entertainment purposes though.
But I think what we should do is during the World Cup, we'll do the watch vlog and we'll have like a Chris Cap. and we'll have what stakes you put up on the screen, and we'll sit there saying, like they've just scored a last minute try. We've moved down to Chris. You just see somebody beating up a PC and throwing hands.
You should have seen I was dating a Polish girl a couple of years ago, and I was watching the box New Zealand, and she couldn't. I don't know. That was maybe the beginning of the end. She couldn't understand this, what this was about. Like, how can I be so emotional?
She watched one more game, and she's like, whoa.
You've never shown this passion in bed, Chris. Where is this coming from?
Yeah, she was like, where was this last night, man? A week later, she's there in a box jersey. She's like, right, come on. Right, there we go. And also, just for interest's sake, we will also have a tracker on for Ireland versus Italy. So those trackers for New Zealand, Australia, and Ireland versus Italy will be on Forever Rugby. So it is a nice opportunity to follow the match if you can't watch it live. We will have how to watch matches on the channel tomorrow. It's a bit complicated for the Players of the Cup and the SA games. Much more straightforward for Summer Nation Series, which is being shown on RTE and Amazon Prime as well, which has got, by the way, elite coverage. Amazon coverage is wild. The panels are cool. It's very, very cool coverage. So the box will be on there in 2 weeks' time for those 2 warm-up games. And the good news as well, by the way, is you'll be able to watch the entire Rugby World Cup for free using a VPN. Check out Bitdefender, check out ExpressVPN. Both of them are in the description there. I'm going to put the description in for World Sports right now into the comments, and go and get your bets in for this weekend. Just before I wrap up and say cheers to the gents, before something going into load shedding, I'm going to look at some of the comments over here, pick out a couple of the interesting ones. And Contender earlier was saying, I think they may take both Inyakani and Detoy instead of Dweba and have Dion Free go as somewhat of a Skulk Brits role, which Dion Free does not like those comparisons, by the way. Play flank for most games. I won't be surprised if he has 2 versus Romania. Doug was saying we played for Rugby Championship last year in Durban and played cuck. Not wrong. Krista saying the reality is that we are not on the same level as the Irish, All Blacks and French teams. We simply don't have the informed players to do it in the World Cup. Adam says it's got to be de Klerk and Honje by far the best choice. Talking about the sort of 9-10 situation. Will saying Kubis will be super hungry. Hope he has a great game. The heart says we beat France on the last game. We're all for that. And then Ahmed earlier says, how can the Box beat the All Blacks? If they were physically and tackle them like demons, really. It's about the only way we can. He slip tackles against New Zealand. Yeah. As Will says, the only way is to outscore them, have to bring the backline power. Gentlemen, before we wrap up, I want a Argentina-South Africa prediction from all of us. And if anyone predicts an Argentina win, they will be kindly, and in fact not so kindly, uninvited from future fan forums. So, Ruse, we'll start with you and work our way back towards myself. What are you going with the score prediction?
South Africa by 6.
South Africa by 6. Close game down in Buenos Aires. Chris, closer, further apart, easier, harder?
No, 32-25. Book win.
By 7, okay. So still sitting at a relatively conservative. Yeah, and now Wes?
I was going to say South Africa by 5. So even tighter there.
Yeah,
Chris, I'm bringing my money, buddy. I want to
yes. Put it on. Show us the slips, mate. Show us the slips.
Rudy's gonna have like the Bok jersey next week on, but like the actual like $2,500 Bok jersey gonna be sitting there going, told you guys, by 6. Easy work.
5, 6, 7.
Yeah, man.
You're the decider, Steve.
I'll be a bit more risky. I'll go Box by 10. Joseph, do we ever try as well? That's what I'm going to try and manifest. Who knows?
Well, he's throwing in skills. He could just throw it to himself from the line out, and he can get over.
Hey, we saw people going short and going down the short side and stuff like that. I think there's a lot of players, a lot of questions to answer this weekend, and next week we actually be talking about a World Cup squad. In fact, we might have to actually look at throwing together a bit of a fan forum on Tuesday to discuss the World Cup squad. Which is going to be very, very cool. So I make no promises, but maybe, ladies and gentlemen, we might actually see you even sooner, because I think it would be a good idea to get everybody's thoughts on the 33 players that will be looking to defend the World Cup. But until then, we're going to leave you to go and watch all the other content. There's a Dion Free press conference. There are previews going up for all the games this weekend. Tomorrow we will have the captain's press conference, which will be Bongi, who always speaks very well and very sort of warrior-like when he goes to a game, as well as Ndila Stick, who's a laugh a minute. And then this weekend, check out all the guys on the Watchalongs. You won't see me on Saturday. I'll see you guys on Monday again. And I'm off to go and play some really, really bad golf. And leave the Watchalongs to you, to the two guys here, as well as Carl. Chris, thanks for
shoulder warm-ups, Steve. Shoulder warm-ups.
Yeah, don't stress. I've been sort of at the range all week. Might have to have a young physio session tomorrow just to sort of really work out the knots. Might have to have a couple of beers tomorrow night to really loosen the swing out. But
there's absolutely no excuse. Oh, Rudy's gone.
Rudy's gone with load shedding. Oh, there's the load shedding. That's heartbreaking. Well, chaps, before anything else happens like that, keep well. Chris, I look forward to a winning week. And Wes, we will see you guys all on the Wales versus England. Everybody else, please do smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you for joining us. As always, this is also available as a podcast on all your favorite streaming platforms. So if you're just joining us now, go and check it out there. And we will see you guys all Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. For today's preview, France versus Scotland. The Summer Nations series really getting underway this weekend. All six nation sides are in action against each other. And quite a lot of diversity between the various teams in terms of the types of teams we're going to see this weekend. Some teams are going more or less full strength. Some teams are going very rotated. Some teams are going very second string, for example. And a lot of debuts floating around in the various teams, which is interesting because the World Cup starts in about a month, almost to the day. And yet there are still sort of a lot of players getting debuts and potential sort of wild card players who could be going to the World Cup. So quite an interesting sort of dynamic when you're watching these games thinking, is there a wild card player somewhere around here? Is there going to be a player who's potentially uncapped, not having played international rugby, who might sort of be announcing themselves in the World Cup? And for this French side, 2 20-year-olds actually being included this weekend. Before we look at the two teams, please do smash the like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. We'll start with the French side, which has got no players from Toulouse, no players from La Rochelle. So, also your main players. So a lot of players missing. No Dupont, no Intermac, no Aldred, no Gail Fiku, for example. Missing most of the players. Also, a lot of the your stars. No Thomas Ramos, for example. Lots of players I can actually name. But anyway, let's look at it. So big news for them is Jean-Baptiste Gros is back from injury. He missed the Six Nations. He is back and will slot down there in loose head. He's got Pierre Bourgerie next to him and Demba Bamba at tight head. So it's a pretty solid front row. In the second row, you've got Cameron Waukee and Bastien Chaleroux. So it's a nice tight five. I think it's a pretty solid tight five, which should give that Scottish tight five a really good go. I think that Scottish tight five is definitely improving. I think Pierre Schoeman's becoming a really solid player as well, for example. But I think this should be quite a nice scrum battle. The first sort of big debutant is Paul Bodenet in the back row. He's going to partner Sekou Makalu, who's a very exciting player. Very keen to see what he can do. I sort of really got my first sort of taste of him in international rugby when I watched him against the Box last year. He was very impressive. And then Johan Tanga is in the number 8 jersey. Very, very exciting. It's an interesting loose trio. It's not the most experienced loose trio, but a lot of good players in there. As I said, I think Makalu is going to be quite a bit of a wild card for me type of player. Based on what I've seen from him, he had some brilliant games from when I've watched him. So very keen to see what he does there. So it's a decent pack, but it's a very rotated pack, very second string in many ways. Baptiste Kalulu gets an opportunity at scrum half. He will partner Matsui Jalabe, who's kind of fallen a bit out of favour. It is a bit difficult to try and displace Romain Intermac in that side. So he'll get an opportunity to sort of show that he is a very capable deputy to Romain Intermac. If you look at the two wings there, Ethan Demeter, we did see quite a bit of him in the Six Nations. But the first of the 20-year-old debuts in Louis Bilberry, he is starting in the 14 jersey. The second 20-year-old debutant is Emile Gelaton there in the 13, and what an opportunity for two 20-year-olds to get the opportunity to get their chance to play for the senior side. They actually missed. I mean, how's this for the French depth? France steamrolled their way to the under-20 championship. Both of these players were eligible to play, but didn't because they got called up to the senior squad. That is where French rugby is right now. Johan Muafana in the inside center there, very nice player as well. And then Bryce Dulan will captain the side. He's kind of been a bit of an outcast for the French side. He hasn't played since they lost last year, I think it was to Ireland. In fact, 2021, I think it was, when he actually last played. So it's been a bit of an outcast as Bryce Dulan, but he's back in the squad and he'll captain this weekend. And his experience, I think, will be pretty important, especially with a lot of youngsters and inexperienced players in and around him. Off the bench, Peter Muvaka, Reddy Wadi and Sapili Falatia. So it's a nice experience to come off the bench. We see quite a lot of them in the Six Nations. Paul Willems as well, making his return from injury. Dylan Cretin. So they've got some nice options though off the bench, a bit more experience if they need to bring it on. Then they've got the likes of Baptiste Serene, Antoine Hastor and Arthur Vincent. So yeah, I think it's a pretty good bench. If things are going badly, they can sort of switch things up and bring some nice players into the mix. We then look at the Scotland side. First of all, Finn Russell captaining, which is very interesting. All the talk always about the relationship between Finn Russell and Townsend and whether it's a good one, it's not a good one. And the fact that he's captain, I think, means obviously that things have been mended, and he's going to play a big role in the World Cup. I do think that the Scotland side can very much cause an upset or two. I think they're number 5 in the world for a reason. and maybe they're starting to bring the consistency that warrants them being taken a bit more seriously, because they've always had the results in them. For example, they've beaten England quite a few times in the last few years, winning that Kolkata Cup, but can sometimes struggle to sort of really pitch up when it counts. But if you look at the side, Pierre Schoeman and Xander Ferguson, 2 very solid scrummagers. Pierre Schoeman very good in the loose as well, and Ewan Ashwin in the middle there. So it's not a bad front row. It's always, Richie Gray, Grant Gilchrist, one of the most solid lock pairings in the world rugby. They could just continue to play together all the time. Grant Gilchrist for me is very underrated. Matt Ferguson, Hamish Watson, Jack Dempsey is a nice loose trio. Big Matt Ferguson fan. We all know what Hamish Watson can do. Then you've got Ben White partnering Finn Russell, so an exciting scrum half or halfback pairing. And it's a very, very good backline. Durafan Merva, Darcy Graham, 2 lethal finishers. Hugh Pilato, the combination of Sierra Tupolato and Hugh Jones. Tupolato actually the vice captain as well, so shows you how much of a senior player he's become in the squad. Blair King at full back. It's probably their best backline. No Stuart Hogg, for example, having retired. Then off the bench, Dave Cherry, Jamie Batty, Via Nell, Scott Cummings, Rory Dodge, George Horn, Cameron Redpath, Ollie Smith. It doesn't get much stronger than this, the Scottish side. There are a couple of players who can come in, but generally this is pretty strong. And I think it's got everything they need to beat this French side if they can click. So, yeah, let me know what your score predictions are down in the comments below. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel as well. And then thank you very much for watching. We will be live for this game over the weekend, so come and hang out with us. And I will chat to you guys next time. Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For today's How to Watch guide for the Summer Nations series, which really gets underway in all earnest this weekend. And the good news is there are a range of broadcasts which will be showing all the action throughout the rest of the month. Lots of cool sport on. In terms of the Summer Nations, this weekend we have got Scotland versus France, Wales versus England, Ireland versus Italy. Next weekend, England versus Wales. The box play against Wales, and it'll be on... so that'll be part of the Summer Nation series, as well as New Zealand games as well. So there's a whole bunch of games that's going to be part of the Summer Nation series. It's basically the Autumn Nation series, which is what the end of year tour has become, but now in August as a Rugby World Cup warm-up schedule. And the big question is, how can I watch all the action? Right, well, the good news is that, first of all, there are free-to-air broadcasters, and you can watch the entire week or month's coverage live on Amazon Prime with a free trial. However, these are only available for those in the UK or in Ireland. So if you're outside those territories, you can still use the same method I'm about to show you, but you're going to have to use a VPN. Now, we recommend using either ExpressVPN or else Bitdefender over there, which are one of our partners. They've got a very good functional VPN, which works very nicely. And basically what you're going to do, I'm going to show you how to use ExpressVPN. So first things first, you're going to go down into the description below. You're going to download your VPN. I'm going to show you what ExpressVPN looks like. And once you install, it's going to look something like that. You're going to go to these 3 little dots over here. That's going to bring up a bunch of locations. And you're going to go and select the UK. Once that is available, you're then going to go to I'm going to recommend using Amazon Prime because every single game is on there and you can get a free 30-day trial. So you're then going to go to Amazon Prime, amazon.co.uk, and then press the Prime address there. And because you're connected through the VPN, it basically geolocates your device to make it seem as if you're in the UK. As a result, you can get access to the Prime thing. And there it is, these are all the Autumn Nations games and stuff like that. If I go to Scotland versus France, you'll see they're included with Prime. It goes live tomorrow. The nice thing about Prime is it's got brilliant panels. It's got really good coverage. It's got different languages, for example. And if you scroll over here, you can see there's the Wales versus that game, as well as in Welsh language. We keep going over here. There's just so many various games across the rest of the month, which is going to be really, really cool. So if you have any questions, put them down in the comments below. Certain games will be on RTE, which is a free-to-air broadcaster. So we'll be doing specific videos on those games, showing you how to watch. But apart from that, get yourself an Amazon Prime free trial. Get yourself a VPN so you can access it and watch all the action live throughout the rest of the month. If you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Apart from that, smash like on the video, subscribe to the channel as well, and I will see you guys next time.
Welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. It seems fitting that the person actually living in Edinburgh at the moment does the Scotland-France game, so that's what I will be doing. what is likely to be actually a pretty good game, and hopefully a step up from Scotland's game against Italy last weekend, which featured a very tenacious seagull, but that's about it. It was quite nice to actually be in the stadium for that. But actually looking forward to a pretty exciting game. Couple of debutants for France are number 13, Gaëtan, and number 14, I'm going to try and say the name properly, Bael Biari. But other than the debutants and a few slightly less experienced players for France, it's looking like a pretty solid side. The front row, dangerous. I think it'll be quite a good front row battle for between the two sides. And I mean, if you can have Paul Willemse on the bench, you're looking pretty good, I think. So the teams are just going through the what's it called? Anthems at the moment. For some reason, I don't have any sound on Amazon Prime, which is unhelpful. But let me try and figure this out, actually, because I wouldn't mind some sound. I'll have to figure it out later. So let's go through the teams quickly. For Scotland, we got the front row of Schoeman, Ashman, and Ferguson. Decent front row. Schoeman's become a bit of a talisman for Scotland, and he's like a cult hero over here. They never stop talking about him. Richie Gray and Grant Gilchrist in the locks. Ferguson, Hamish Watson returning back to the starting lineup, and Dempsey. So pretty solid back three as well. It's a really good pack for Scotland. You could argue it's actually it's their first string pack, with maybe a few changes here and there. And then you got Ben White at number 9, and Finn Russell returns to the team. Finn Russell being on his day, arguably the best fly half in World Rugby. So let's hope it is his day, because I would love to see France lose this game. It would just really build the pressure towards the World Cup, especially that first game with against New Zealand. Tuipulotu and Hugh Jones partnering in the centres. They've become, over the last couple of years, a really, really powerful centre pairing. Hugh Jones, having played a lot of rugby out in South Africa for Western Province and the Stormers, and Tuipulotu obviously being a star performer for Glasgow throughout the last few years. And the back three with a couple of changes again. Darcy Graham stays at number 14. Had a decent game last week, but again, it was a bit of a boring game considering the conditions. Makes sense. But Duan van der Merwe returns to the team, which I think he'll certainly needs to be heavily marked. And he's actually facing up against the French debutant on the wing, so that'll be an interesting first marking for the French player. And then Blair Kinghorn comes into the side. Obviously, Stuart Hogg has announced his immediate retirement. There's a bit of a controversy over here in Scotland about why that's actually happened, and that potentially his reasoning is not really the reason he retired. But Blair Kinghorn back in the side, and I really like Blair Kinghorn. I think he's a great player. He's very fast, tall, got a good boot on him. He's a very good player, and I think it'll be an interesting battle between him and Bruce Dillon. And then obviously over to France, you've got Gros, Bougarit, and Bamba in the front row. Solid front row, very heavy. Cameron Workey and Shellero in the locking down. Then a name I don't recognize, because I probably haven't paid enough attention to French rugby over the last few years. Boudent and Makalou at number 7, who is wildly fast. And then Tanga, again, a guy I don't really know. As you can see on the screen at the moment, there's one of the debutants, number 13, Emilien Gaëtan. So, and the back line is Quilo, 9, Jalibert, Mofana, Gaëtan, and then Dumortier, who's been very good since he burst onto the scene for France. This name's really hard to say, and I have been in France a lot. So I'm going to say it's Baye Bieri, and then Brice Dulin at 15. So got a good game coming up here, and I am very much looking forward to seeing how these two teams play ahead of the World Cup. There's today is a rugby pack mad day. It's great. And there we go. Blair Kinghorn's kicked off. France take the ball down in their 22 through number 9, I believe. They set, and they're looking to exit, I think, immediately. Oh, and it's an immediate knock-on from France, and they're already under pressure. That is not a good start from France. They've certainly put themselves under pressure here, and Bougarit dropped that cold. Not a great pass off the base of the ruck, I'm not going to lie. But certainly not the start they were looking for. Why? I'm just going to actually reload this while the scrum's being, because I really want to have at least some sound. It might be because I'm streaming that Prime doesn't like this. And while we get this done, you may have noticed that we've got our sponsors on the screen today, Boyle Sports and also Bitdefender. So you'll hear us chat about them every now and then. So thanks to them for being our sponsors and sending us to the sending Steve and Co to the World Cup. Looking forward to that. Also, I'm drinking Scottish beer today, not Tennent's, but Innocent Gun. So the scrum's going to be reset. For some reason, I have no sound. I'm not sure why, but not the end of the world. So reset scrum. Scotland's ball. So it will be Ben White to put the ball in. And in a good attacking position here, inside France 22. Blind side maybe an option for Duan van der Merwe. Not a bad shout if they can get a break off the tail of the scrum. And the scrum's gone down and been reset. Still Scotland's ball. I do like Scotland's white kit, not gonna lie. It's a nice kit. I still don't understand this whole thing of, it seems like home teams and away teams are now wearing their away kit as their home kit and their home kit as their away kit. And I've never understood it. At least it's something I've started noticing recently. It happened last weekend as well. And it's just strange for me because then it loses all meaning. But it's a nice kit. I like the white. So the scrum's set. Ben White is taking ages to put the ball in, but he does so. And he's got the ball at the tail. Dempsey's trying to control it, but France have now pushed through, but have given away a scrum penalty. So Scotland have the first opportunity for points in the game. And I'm assuming that Finn Russell will line up I wonder who's going to kick. Finn Russell or Blair Kinghorn? Looks like it's going to be Finn Russell. And we could be seeing the first points of the game. Walk around the edge. Have we frozen? Ah, there we go. Yeah, so France, once driving up in the front, they then walked around, and that's where the penalty came from. So I believe it was Bamba who was penalised there. So Finn Russell lines up to hopefully get Scotland the first 3 points. Let's see what kind of Finn Russell turns up today. And he's got it. Scotland are on the board. So Scotland take an early-ish lead, 4 minutes into the game, 3-0. And that's a good, obviously, that's a good start for Scotland. I think they need to really build scoreboard pressure on this in this match. So France will restart through Jalibert, I think. Ball lands just outside the 22, and I think Scotland have taken it back in through the catch. So I don't think they can kick straight into touch. Ben White's got it at the back of the ruck. And he looks to box kick. Oh, no. Passes to Finn Russell, who tries a cross kick for Darcy Graham to chase. It's landed well for Dumortier, who's got it just outside the 10. Scotland are making them fight for this. Bumba midfield. Taken down by Gilchrist, I think. Yeah, Gilchrist in the red scrum cap. France looking to reset. They tried the kick over the top for the French to chase. It's bounced really high and straight over their players. If it hadn't bounced that high, they would have got it back. Back to Finn Russell, who's in his 22, who clears. Looks like he's trying to go for a 50-22, but the bounce is unfortunately not out. So France try an up and under and don't manage to regather. It's gone backwards. Duan van der Merwe's got it straight into Brice Dulin. And Scotland are trying to go down the blind side. Ashman with a good carry. Who's that? Is that Dempsey? Yeah, I think it was Dempsey with a good carry as well. Out to Finn Russell. Finn Russell out the back to Darcy Graham. And this is good from Scotland. They're attacking well. They've got good shape. Hamish Watson off to Fagerson, who's done well here. Oh, but he's knocked it on. That's unfortunate. Scotland were building really good pressure there. But it's showing what they can do and what their intent is in this game. It's good to see. And obviously Finn Russell trying his cross kicks again and again. He is impressively good at those cross kicks. Oh, and that was it. Fagerson trying to offload from the floor and just lost control of it in one hand. But really good running from the Scottish forwards so far. So it'll be a scrum near the French 10-meter line. France ball. And we're already 7 minutes into the game. So the scrum set. Kulo feeds. Is it Quilo? Yeah, Quilo. Scrum goes down. Reset ball. France. Reset and France's ball. It's good to see Hamish Watson back in the side. It's good to see. It's one hell of a player, but he just hasn't. He's been plagued by injury, and yeah, it's very, very positive to see him, especially ahead of the World Cup. He's a bit of a talisman for Scotland. They've got a few actually nowadays, and it's been a while since that's been the case. So scrums reset. France feed. And it's out the back. They've decided to go blind, although they've changed direction. They've come back on themselves and they kick through. Oh, and it's gone straight through Blair Kinghorn's hands, but he's actually done quite well to get through a tackle. Scotland are inside. Unfortunately, Scotland are given away a penalty for not releasing. But it was a good recovery from Blair Kinghorn, but just not getting the support he needed. Now, will France take the shot at goal, or they go for corner? I believe they're going to go for the corner. Brice Dulin's picked up the ball. And he goes for touch. Did he find a good touch? Not bad. About halfway into Scotland's 22. Not a bad kick. Yeah, okay. So Kinghorn managed to offload that, and then the turnover came from, I think it was Dempsey. So I think that was, what's his name? Macalou rising high to get the ball, or was it? No, it was Woki. Yeah, it was Cameron Woki who got the ball. France have set a maul here, and they're moving forwards. Scotland could be in real trouble if they don't stop this. Oh, and they've broken off and the debutant has knocked it on. Darcy Graham's got the ball now, and it's turned over. Scotland trying to play it out. Passes out the back to Finn Russell. Finn Russell clears. Oh, but he's gone straight down the middle of the field. And Dulin's having to track back. He was a bit out of position there because they were assuming that Finn Russell would try and clear to touch. So Dulan into the 22 to Darcy Graham. Darcy Graham launches a high ball. Taken nicely and then kicked by Dulan. In Scotland's 22. And Finn Russell attempts a spiral. Doesn't quite connect, but not a terrible kick. It's got good distance. And France then pick up in their 22 and decide, no, it's time to get this ball out and reset. I believe that was Jalibert who kicked it out. But some good tactical kicking going on here. Really trying to play for those 50-22s. So it'll be Scotland's line out. And Ashman to throw. Richie Gray rises high and grabs the ball. They set the maul. And Ashman's got at the back, breaks off the back and decide to go into the back line through Hugh Jones. And Skuman is wrapped up and driven a bit backwards. That doesn't happen often. That'll certainly be a bit of a and Finn Russell juggles the ball and then eventually catches it behind his back. But because of that, it's smoked backwards, and then so is Darcy Graham subsequently. So Finn Russell, I think, caught concentrating on everything before he's even got the ball, which, as we know, is always a potential hazard in rugby because chances are you'll drop it. Looks like Ben White is setting to box kick here. And does so. Richard Gray is definitely ahead of the kicker there. France take it in and swing it down to oh my God, Gaetan. Oh, and France are going to score here. And out of nothing, France run 50 meters and score. And it's it's just what they can do. It's ridiculous. They just open you up like that. And it looks like the try scorer is Baptiste Quilo. I still don't know how to say that name. I think I might be saying it right. Got a nice haircut there. Still, you'd think that someone like him, has to play very well in order to secure a spot in their squad, because obviously Dupont's starting 9 and will play every game if he can. And there's a few good number 9s playing in France. So it's these next few games are certainly make or break for not only players in the French team, but also in a lot of the teams. I'd say less so in Scotland. I think they've pretty much got their team nailed, but a bunch of them don't. And the conversion is also over. It looks like Quilo's kicking as well. No, it's not. I think it's Jalibert who's kicking, which makes sense. But very, very well worked counter-attack move there. And Gaetan did very well with his offload. Took them right to the touchline and offloaded in the tackle to the newbie winger, Biari, who then offloaded to Jalibert, who then passed inside to Quilo. So Scotland will restart the game, and hopefully they'll try and do a bit of a power play here to try and get themselves immediately back in the match. 7-3 to France. 13 and a half minutes gone. And it looks like France will set a box kick here off the back of the ruck through Quilo. And the ball's straight out, although Finn Russell decides to play quickly off to Dempsey, who charges straight at Tanga. Takes him down well. Then off to Gilchrist. Scotland on the French 10-meter line. Skuman takes the hit of Gros. Oof, that's a big hit on Blair Kinghorn. Finn Russell out the back to Gilchrist. Playing a lot of quite a few phases here. This is the 6th phase so far of Scotland. Finn Russell, I thought he might try to kick it there. And onto the wing to Duan van der Merwe, who manages to stay in quite well. despite being stopped immediately. Dempsey. Ben White recycles to Finn Russell. Finn Russell cuts out wide to Hamish Watson. This is good from Scotland. They're building continuity. Finn Russell out the back to Blair Kinghorn, out the back to Darcy Graham, who's marked well, but he's still going. He's got strong legs for a little winger. And he's absolutely rapid too. This is good from Scotland. They should play wide. They need to play wide. Dempsey's waiting on the wing. Dempsey's doing well. Oh, he offloads straight to Jalibert, who takes it, kicks downfield. No one's home at the moment, but to be fair, the French chase is not great. Although Jalibert's done well to trap Hamish Watson in his own half. Skuman out the back to Blair Kinghorn, steps inside. He's done well there. Offloads out in the tackle, although the pass from Richie Gray is awful, and it's been turned over by France. On halfway, Jalibert decides to kick over the top. And the new man, the new winger for France is chasing. Oh, and he's going to get penalised for that. Diving straight on the man, and to be honest, it's a dangerous tackle. He's hit Ben White's head. And it looks like Ben White might be injured, not through head, but he looks like he might have done something to his ankle or his shin. Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, could potentially be a yellow card here for the winger on debut for France. He's gone straight down on a diving Ben White. This could be a bit of a problem for France. I think it might just be a penalty. I think it's just a penalty. That was a bit. Oh, that's reckless. I mean, he pulled out of it as soon as he'd done it. That's reckless. It's direct contact to the head, and diving on a player who's going down. They might actually check this. I'm surprised they're not checking that. All right, so they're not checking it, and Finn Russell will clear the ball. I wouldn't be surprised if Ben White comes off early here. He's still not doing fabulously, and he's jogging back into position now. Although you can tell he's not enjoying that left leg. So Scotland will have the line out between halfway and the 10. Ashman to throw in. And it's been turned over by France. This is really good. France playing in the midfield. Let's get my phone open again. France looking dangerous here. They're going forwards with every carry. Out the back to Dulan, who kicks through. Blair Kinghorn back in to... Is that Finn Russell? No, Duan van der Merwe. Oh, who takes off, and he's doing well here. He was brought down well just inside their own 10-meter line. Oof. That was not a good pass from Ben White. And Finn Russell decides to kick just outside the French 22. So, oh my God, Jalibert will kick it back. And it's been fielded by Finn Russell, I believe. Difficult to tell, actually. Let me open that up a little bit more, make it a bit wider. Yep, and Finn Russell with a good clearance back into the French half. Oh, actually, still in Scotland's half. About 5 meters from the halfway line. I tell you what, there's a lot of kicking coming from France, and they do kick a lot. But the kicking hasn't been bad so far from both teams. They've actually both been kicking quite well. We're about a quarter of the way into the game, and France could claim it back through Macalou, although untidy ball. France have rolled it all the way into Scotland's 10-meter line. Boogerit with the carry. Was that Worky or Macalou? It was Macalou. Okay, Boogerit with another carry. Hamish Watson stopping him quite well. Moefana Is it Moefana? Yeah. Oh, and there's a snipe by Quilo. Oh, good interplay from Tanga and Makalu there. France are pressuring Scotland quite well here. Quilo tries to kick over the top. Doesn't work because it gets charged down, but France have managed to keep it. Moefana decides to go on the outside, and he's done well here. But I think Duan van der Merwe has managed to tackle him out in the corner. Moefana's got quite a bit of acceleration there. But tackled out. To be fair, Duan van der Merwe does really well there. And Scotland take the line out. And they maul it up to 8 meters out. Now, will they set to box kick or will they set to kick through Finn Russell? It's a box kick through Ben White. He's got the ball out, but France decide not to take it quickly. And good exit there from Ben White. Right up to Scotland's 10-meter line. Good exit there. It's been a good game so far. Both teams are actually attacking really well. And I think it is Scotland having been France's actual bogey team in the last few years with their kind of all-out attack style. I think this was actually always going to be quite a good game. It's certainly an improvement from the Italy game last week. So France throw in, and again it's untidy. France do get it back, and Jalibert decides to kick over into the 22 with a bit of a banana kick for Finn Russell to field. No, sorry, Duan van der Merwe to field. He's going sideways, but he's off on his own. Darcy Graham's lost his scrum cap, which is strange to see because of his bright white hair now, his bleach blonde hair. So Scotland now have the ball under control at the back of the ruck, and Ben White looks to box kick again. Bit flatter this time, so a bit more distance. It's a good kick. It's not out though. And France will run it back through Dulan. Up over halfway, about five meters inside Scotland's half. Ooh, and Bamba almost drops that cold, but manages to hang on to it. France have got an advantage here, and they change direction, going down the blind side. Try the chip and chase. Scotland get it back, so it'll be a penalty to France. And it was for not rolling away. Not rolling away. Good game so far. Very good game so far. I wonder if it's... That's the microphone. I don't know. It's weird. So France will decide to kick instead of for the corner instead of taking the 3 points on offer, and they're inside the Scotland 22, 20 meters out. Let me close that. France will be looking to obviously double their points here with a good attack. They actually have a stable line out this time. They set them all. Scotland. Maybe a danger of swimming around the side here. Skuman's come all the way around. Hasn't touched it yet, though. And they decide to play out the back to Jalibert. Jalibert out to Dulan. They're inside Scotland's 22. Jalibert to the new winger on debut who goes through and scores. And as I was saying before the game, debutants just seem to score every single game nowadays. Sean Stevenson and, I can't remember the other debutant for New Zealand today. Both scored. Bail Biari has just scored, so now all we're waiting for is Gaiton to score as well. But for some reason, debutants always score. Really well worked. Try this, though. Bruce Dulan coming back in right in centre field, opened them up. Watson hesitated just too long. And Blair Kinghorn should have actually smashed his man. And Scotland are in a bit of trouble here. Scotland are in a bit of trouble here now because... oh, that's poor from Watson. But a try on debut. And you've got to think that if they're bringing people on for their debuts this close to a World Cup, they have to be in some level of consideration, which is wild if you think about it. Right, so Jalibert from the touchline, more or less, about 3 meters in. We'll look to add the extras. 25.5 minutes in. And he's got it. He sneaks it inside the right hand upright. And that will make it 14 points to 3. And the only difference here is Scotland's not playing bad. It's just France is taking their opportunities. I like that French kit. It's nice. So Blair Kinghorn will restart the match. Goes very high. Taken in the 22 by Brice Dulin, who evades the first tackle. Doesn't manage to get out of the 22. Oh, and Gilchrist could be penalised here. Quilo out to Jalibert, who clears a bit of a slice off his boot and takes play not up to the 10, the French 10, but not unsurprising considering he didn't get a very good strike on that one. And yeah. So Ashman will have the line-out throw inside France's 10-meter line. Scotland really need to come away from this with some points, you'd think. Even if it's 3. They've set a decent maul, but it's stopped, so the referee's called it. Use it once. Oh, and this Ben White's in trouble here. He's lucky that they... Oof. Scotland are really playing risky around the mauls. France doing really well there to disrupt them. Gilchrist holds it instead of passing. Ben White recycles. Finn Russell looks to kick and does so. Launches a bomb, but he's kicked it too far. So if it's caught, which it is, Brice Dulin's taken out. Oh, no, it's not. Is that Brice Dulin? Yeah. Dulin's taken out, but called the mark. So, yeah, it was a bit too deep there from Finn Russell. Right idea, because he certainly wasn't deep enough to not be challenged. But oh, and Scotland have kept the penalty kick in, and they're looking to run it back. Duan van der Merwe. Oh, that's a high tackle. France will have given away a penalty, well, advantage anyway, and they'll come back for the penalty. That's a mistake by France, and especially after weathering the last attack. Might be worth actually going for the 3 points in. That's a poor tackle by Makalu. Really poor. Duan van der Merwe is not a short guy. You shouldn't be hitting him high. And that was a pure seatbelt tackle. Nope, Scotland are looking for more ambition. They're going to go for touch. And they've brought play up to the 22-meter line. France definitely need... Scotland definitely needs some points to take away certainly before half-time. They don't want to be trailing too much at half-time. So inside France's 22, Gilchrist rises, takes it high. It's come down. They're using it quickly. Tuipulotu's controlled that really... Oh, and this is a great attack from Scotland. Blair Kinghorn goes up to about 8 meters out. Recycled by Ben White. Not a great pass. Hamish Watson controls it well. Scotland are in trouble here. France are all over them. Oh, and... yeah, okay. That was very stupid and probably would be penalized. And is penalized? Yep. Very, very stupid penalty to give away by Scotland for literally just tackling a man not involved in any way off the ball. And if you're watching the game right now, you'll probably see it. I didn't see the numbers, but just such a silly penalty. There's Sean Edwards, France's defence coach. What a number of teams would do to get him in their coaching staff. So, Brice Dulin with a good kick clearance. About 36 meter kick, which I believe brings him up to about halfway. Yep, on halfway. Looks like Ben White, I think, is coming off. Just since that tackle from the new winger hasn't looked fabulous. He's been replaced by George Horn. Yeah. So France take the ball down, looking to attack here. Mofana at the back to the new winger. Oh, and he's tried to stab it through, but it's ricocheted. And Booger decides, fuck this, I'm going to kick this downfield. Which wasn't a terrible kick by a hooker's standards, that's for sure. Brice Dulin in his own 22 decides, no, I'm going to send this back with a bomb. And unfortunate bounce, not a bad kick distance-wise, very good kick. Finn Russell has all the time in the world to clear. And not his best kick, brings play up to about 6 meters inside of their own half. But it's just going back to that last penalty that Scotland gave away for no reason. It's just things like that are just the coach killers. They are so frustrating because it's so unnecessary and just ruins a chance to get points. And this is the difference. France are taking their chances. Booger throws in. Makalou rises high, straight down to Quilo. France are attacking quite hard here. Recycled again to, is that Woki? I think it was Woki. And France are slowly working their way through Scotland's half here. Good run by Bamba. And picked up by, who's number 5? Chalaroux. Sorry. Not Roux. Chalaroux. Oh, and Scotland have managed to turn it over. Hamish Watson comes away with it. Who offloads, and there's that's forward pass. Yeah, unfortunately, forward pass because they would have scored off of it. Scotland think they're still playing. And Van der Merwe goes over in the corner, still not realizing that they're not playing anymore. But nice to see Brice Dulin helping Van der Merwe up. Huge size difference, but what are you going to do? And I think Duan van der Merwe is probably one of the players that South Africa are just like, bit of a bummer we let him go. A great turnover by Scotland. And Watson passed to Dempsey, I think. And it was that pass in the tackle from Blair Kinghorn, I think, that was forward. Really unfortunate that, just because Scotland could have run the whole field there. Had numbers. And again, would France have taken that chance? Looks likely. And this is the difference between the sides at the moment. This is their biggest problem. Ferguson wearing his typical scrum cap there. I can tell you though that if, having been to Murrayfield a few times, it is an incredible stadium, and the atmosphere in there is electric. It's great. I think last week more people were cheering for the Seagull than anything though. That was quite funny. So just as we get ready for the scrum, let me just, where's that thing? Oh my god, that's unhelpful. Right. So, setting the scrum here, it is France's put in, and there is about 6.5 minutes left of the game. Sorry, I keep forgetting number 6 for Scotland is Ferguson. I keep forgetting. So, Quilo off the back to Moefana, who takes the tackle of Finn Russell and breaks through it. Tuipulotu's got him wrapped up, but you got to admit, he's already broken one tackle. Bamba's got crazy feet for a prop. Oh, that's a really good tackle there from I can't even tell who that is. Oh, and they're setting for a drop goal. I think Brice Dulan whoever kicked it has missed it, and Kinghorn's running it back, decides to kick it from inside the 22, straight down the middle of the field, but France have given away a penalty. I didn't even see what for. I think it was it taking the man out, or we'll find out. I also have no commentary from the actual thing, so I have to wait until it's said on the screen. So while we wait for the game to restart, as I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, we are sponsored by Bitdefender. We've partnered with them, a global leader in cybersecurity. Bitdefender is committed to defending people all around the globe against cyber attacks to transform and improve their digital experience. A big thank you to Bitdefender for sponsoring the channel. And Finn Russell clears the ball up to halfway. Got to admit, that's a good kick from Finn Russell. I'm interested to, in the chat, what are your opinions on the whole retirement of Stuart Hogg pre-World Cup? You think it's exactly what he said the reason is? His body's just too tired for it? Or do you think there's something a little bit more at play? There's certainly people saying that there might be. And France lose the ball forwards after the line out, so Scotland will have a scrum just inside their own half. So yeah, what do we think? Do we think? Oh yeah, and as I thought, Ben White has got his ankle heavily iced and taped up there, and he's not looking too comfortable on it. I think he's about to go away for a scan. It's nice to see Chris Harris give him a little bit of a tap on the back before he heads off. So yeah, question one: Do you think it's going to be it's going to really negatively impact Scotland, the fact that Hogg is retired, or do you think it actually might help a bit? Obviously, an outstanding player, but my biggest problem with Hogg is that he tended to lose Scotland more games than he ever won them. So you never know. It actually might be a blessing in disguise, because Blair Kinghorn's a good player. So the scrum needs to be reset because a couple of the front rowers popped up almost immediately as it was engaged. It's still Scotland's put in, and with less than 4 minutes of the second half, Scotland really need to do something before this halftime break. Going in 14-3, not a great look, considering they haven't been bad. They haven't played badly, but France have just taken those chances, those critical moments. They've been more accurate. And penalty, long arm from the referee at the scrum for Scotland. France, I'd say the only part where France are having a rather torrid time is actually at scrum time. And Gro's not happy with that call. But I don't think I've ever seen a front rower who's ever been happy with a referee calling against them. Even when playing in club rugby myself. But sir, what did I do? So Ashman will have the throw in just outside of Scotland's, the French 22. Gilchrist rises high and gets it. Scotland set the maul. It's stationary at the moment. France have managed to come right through the middle, and I think this could be a turnover because they cannot get this ball out. Yep, and it is. France have turned the ball over just by not letting the ball come out. And you have to think that Scotland will be getting incredibly frustrated right now by the fact that they cannot get anything going. They haven't threatened the French try line at all, and got to think that's quite worrying for them. Oh my God, Bumba's quads are massive. Christ, no wonder he can step the way he does. It's a good battle, this though. Bamba versus Skuman. Good battle, although Gros is not really enjoying his experience against who is it? Is it Ferguson? Yeah, Xander Ferguson on the other side. That's a telling stat. France winning 5 turnovers to Scotland's 1. That's a hugely telling stat. Question number 2 I have for the chat, based on the first half. What do you think Scotland's chances are of making out of the pool? They've got a hell of a tough pool to go into. And this is a bit of a litmus test for them, I think. This is more or less their full-strength team. And they're not showing all that much. They're not playing badly. And they've had some good attacking periods, but not really made any breaks. I wouldn't say I've been impressed by them. They just haven't been bad. What do you think in the next? What do you think their chances are of making it out the pool? And if so, if you think they will, who do you think they'll beat? France win a penalty at the scrum for the Scottish front row, going straight to ground. France will feel good about that because they've been under the cosh the whole time in scrums. They'll feel good about that. With less than a minute left, Scotland, you gotta think they're running out of chances to get any more points out of this half. So the line out, France's line out will be just inside Scotland's half. Good place to set an attacking platform, that's for sure. They go to the front, and Woki takes it well. They set the maul, and Bugarit's got it at the back of the line of the maul. Still in, although he's going to, I imagine he'll break away soon. Scotland have done well to deal with it. Oh, they had done well until they sacked it and they're giving away a penalty. And referee blows the whistle because the ball's not coming out. And I bet you France will kick to the touch and they'll go for another try. Not an easy kick here for Jaminet. It's not too far from the touchline, but how much distance has he got from that? Distance to try line. So they're inside the 22, 19.7 meters to the try line. Ferguson having a little conversation with the referee. Who is the ref today, actually? Not actually sure. I can never remember this guy's name. France go to the front. Ooh, through McAloo, and he's taken out in the air, and Scotland are given away another penalty. Guilo off the back to dummies Woki and goes to Bugarit. Guilo again. Good take there from who was it? I couldn't say. Bamba steps inside again, takes on Ferguson, makes a meter or two. Guilo out the back to Jaminet. Jaminet to Moefana. Moefana off to Newman. What's his name again? Gaiton. And Scotland are giving away another penalty. God, you've got to think Gregor Townsend is just fuming. And France will go for the corner again. Except this time, they'll be 5 meters out. 6 meters out. No, 5 meters out. And it was Gilchrist who was penalised this time. It's a great hairstyle there from Piers Kuhlman. Love it. Scotland are in big shit here if they let a try in. Goes to Woki. They set the maul. Much better set this time from France. It's not moving anywhere just yet. And Bugarit breaks off the back. Hamish Watson's got him covered. Who's this guy? That must be Bodent. I do not know Boden. I don't know who he is. I've never seen him. And France have scored through through Woki, dove around the side of the ruck and gets over. And Scotland are reeling. They're in all kinds of trouble at the moment. And you'd think that the halftime score will be 21-3, and that's a bad reading for Scotland. There's not a lot of positivity in that. Oh, and that's even worse. Piers Kuman actually pulled Woki just before he dived. Pulled him towards him, and he almost helped him over the try line. I don't think he realized he had the ball. And Jamine dissects the posts, and the half-time score is 21-3. Arguably Scotland's first team against a second-string French side, and it's very one-sided. This is going to be worrying for Gregor Townsend, and a lot of positivity for France. And what does Scotland do in this second half? How do they deal with this? They obviously have to stop France playing so much with the ball, but also they have to take their chances. I don't know. Do I see a turnaround? Do they have the impact players off the bench? This is the question. Ollie Smith, Cam Redpath, Darge is very good. Darge will be good when he comes on. Cummins, Nell, Batty, and Cherry. No, I don't think they do. When you look at if you take a look at France's bench, they got Falater, they got Willemse, Cretin, Serran, Hastoy, and Vincent. I think France has more firepower on the bench as well. And there's some very, very telling stats in this game. Obviously, Scotland have a huge mountain to climb now. Interestingly, possession has been in Scotland's favour. No, sorry, not Scotland's favour. It's been in France's favour, which doesn't surprise me considering the amount of kicking. Win probability for Scotland is rapidly decreasing. 17%. That's not where you want to be. Although it'll make one hell of a story if they do turn it around. So, in the chat, what does Scotland need to do in the second half to turn this game around? And also, do you think they'll actually be able to? Personally, I don't think so, but I am hoping to be surprised. I'd certainly like them to turn this around. But yeah, it's not looking too bright at Murrayfield, which is all too common with the weather anyway. Right, let's go. I will see you when we get back. question and the poll that I think is in the chat is, can Scotland come back? Can they overturn this 18-point deficit? I would say that nothing they've showed me so far would suggest that, but they have been wrestling the team, so anything can happen. So we'll see what happens. France have looked really good. They've defended well for what they've needed to do, and their attack has been lethal, especially through their new players. Their people in debut really showing that they want a spot at the World Cup. So don't forget to vote on the poll. Can Scotland come back and win? France kick off through Jalibert. Taken in by Ferguson. And Horn decides not to kick and go himself straight into a bunch of forwards. Interesting call. But now they're out of a scrum half. So they're going to have to truck it up through another... oh, no, wait. Yeah, no. They're going to have to truck it up a little bit just so Horn can get back up and reset, I assume, for a box kick. George Horn decides to pass out to Finn Russell, who launches a high cross kick for the backs to chase, and the French players completely missed it. Unfortunately, Scotland have then gone and knocked it on, and the French will come back with it. And that's a chance, another chance gone begging for Scotland. Quio, I was right, Quio. So I've actually got the audio now. Finn Russell will run it back. Decides a little bit of show and go. Passes to Darcy Graham, who gets through a gap and then is hit by Quio. Horn out the back. And Scotland are swinging it straight down the line to Van der Merwe, who keeps cutting back inside. He's broken some tackles here. Broken another one from Woki and from Makalou. Makalou looks like he might have taken a knock there. Scotland are passing it down all the way down to the right. Kinghorn. Kinghorn's got it in one hand. Doesn't get an offload off. Darcy Graham picks up and goes. Breaks the tackle of Mofana. This is much more like what Scotland needs. Ferguson at the back. Russell all the way to Kinghorn. Scotland have a very good chance here. Oh, they're isolated. Hamish Watson picks up a loose ball off the floor. Inside to Ferguson. Ferguson attacks the line. Horn, Finn Russell. Finn Russell does another cross kick. Darcy Graham's chasing. I don't... Oh, he's claiming it. He's claiming it. We'll see if he got it. He certainly got ahead of Dumortier. Let's have a look. Oh, this could be the start Scotland needs. We could all be wrong. Scotland could get back into this game. That was brilliant. Scotland do have a penalty. So if they haven't scored, they could at least get a 3-pointer. But the referees seem convinced that they've got to try it. That he certainly got there first. That is a good play from Finn Russell and Darcy Graham there. Ben O'Keefe. Perhaps the referee's name. All right, we're just waiting for the TMO camera view, but great play from the two. And Finn Russell is loving his cross kicks. I mean, he does, but he loves the cross kicks. We're still. Oh, here we go. Let's have a look. Darcy Graham gets there first. I think that's a try. Oh, no. That's going to get ruled as a knock-on. There's separation between his hand and the ball. That's going to be ruled as a knock-on, I think. Yes, that's a knock-on. Damn it. That's it. That's a knock-on. They cannot award that. It comes off his hand, sadly. Yeah, knock on. Minor knock on. Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they can award that, sadly. But they've got a penalty. Nah, knock on. Clear knock on. Good question to throw. What if that was the last 5 seconds of the World Cup final? It's not, but also you have to play it and rule it for what it is. What? Okay. That I don't agree with, but it's fine. At least Scotland are back in the game. I would argue that was a knock on. Clear as day. As small as it was clear. But the prize been awarded. And look at it is, Darcy Graham. 19 tries in 35 games for Scotland. It's a good strike rate considering Scotland don't score that many tries. I'm English. Why the hell am I talking about that? And Finn Russell with the kick. And he's got it. 21-10. 3 minutes into the second half. Now, that's a little bit of a swing. Is there a story to tell here? Are Scotland going to race back into this match? Good stuff. That's the kind of stuff we want to see. Let's see. What did everyone say? Oof. Most people are saying no. What is it? There we go. I need the live. I need the live chat. Oh, and immediately Scotland are giving away a penalty. And you'd think France will go for the 3 here. Sounds a bit off. My sound. Let me have a look. It shouldn't be. Yeah, Jason, I agree. It was a knock on. No, I agree with you guys. I would never have given that a try. As close as it was, it doesn't matter. Scotland to push back against the more. Booger breaks off the back. So, Booger playing well. And there's a knock on from France. Scotland will survive that one. I would argue that they should have gone for the 3 points there. So Scotland have the scrum. You think they'd look to clear their lines here? Scotland get a free kick. Driving early from France. So Scotland take the free kick and clear almost up to halfway. It's not going to be over. But 21-10, much more respectable score at the moment. All right, Booger will throw in. Looks like they're going to aim for Makalu, and they do. Brings it down, passes out to Pula. Jamine out the back. Oh, it's a decent spot tackle there on Gulan from Darcy Graham. And he's won the penalty. Much better from Scotland. Darcy Graham in particular. Good tackle. Finn Russell decides, no, I want to get this moving. And banana kicks into the French 22. Scotland coming out looking to play in the second half. What a spot tackle from Darcy Graham. Oh, and this is good. Dempsey off the back. Scotland looking good on attack here. This is really good play from Scotland. Oh, and France win the penalty. Gurit has got the turnover there, and that's that attack over. So France will clear their lines to Jam. No, that's really frustrating from Scotland, but very good body position from Gurit. Really good, and no one's going to move him from there. Let's see. So the kick just outside the French 22. Total penalties conceded 8 to Scotland, 6 to France. So not too much difference, but those Scottish penalties came at all the worst times. Scotland get the turnover at the touch. Oh, and Horn cannot control the ball, and it goes out for another line out to France. That's unfortunate. I think Demba Bumba has come off. So it looks like they're already starting to make changes. Kuyo out to Tanga. Stopped well by Scotland. Great commentary from the commentator there. A very rectangular individual. Kuyo box kicks off the back. And it's a high one for Van der Merwe, who doesn't even jump. He just takes it mid-stride. Really good from him, although he's hit immediately. And Scotland looking to attack from deep here. Blair Kinghorn. Oh, and this is really good from Scotland. Mofana tackles Pupalotu. Horn to Finn Russell. Russell at the back to let Blair Kinghorn. Wide pass. Van der Merwe's got the ball. Sits down Kuyo. Horn to Gilchrist, to Finn Russell, who looked to shape a kick to Darcy Graham, but didn't. Hugh Jones decides to kick through himself, and he's tackled late. Might be a penalty there. I'd say he was hit late. But that was a good injection of pace from Blair King on there. But this is much more like it. Scotland is playing with a lot more intensity right now. It looks like the referee is checking something. Let's have a look. What are they checking? Oh, Xander Ferguson could be seeing red here. I don't know if there's any mitigation for that either. This could be a red card for Xander Ferguson. That's not good at all. It's head and shoulder directly to head. Oh, okay. Only a yellow, but under review. So it could upgrade to a red, and I think it might. Which is not good for Scotland, especially considering they were getting themselves back into this game. Yeah, and there's so much about if it is upgraded to a red, there's so many implications to that. He could end up missing the first 2 games of the World Cup. And I mean, all that from what I would have argued the penalty should have been to Scotland, but because of that, everything is overtaken by it. All right, so France throw in, and very awful, just massively threw it down to the ground. And Scotland have turned over. Darcy Graham dancing through a few tackles. Horn recycles. Finn Russell out the back. To Pilotu. Pilotu takes on the line. Finn Russell out the back to Blair Kinghorn, who accelerates. God, his acceleration's fast. And Scotland get the penalty just inside their own half. So Finn Russell will kick to the corner, and the longer he can take to do so, the more time that's eaten up on the yellow card. Well, if it stays as a yellow card. So it doesn't quite reach the French 22. Doesn't quite reach the French 22, but not a bad position. You'd imagine the Scottish front row will start cycling off soon for the replacements. Oh, okay. Ashman recycles at the back. Finn Russell, Tupelotu, takes on the line. Horn, Finn Russell, Blair Kinghorn, Johan van der Merwe. France have got him marked quite well. Horn, not great as a passes, but Ashman takes on the line well. Horn, Darcy Graham breaks one tackle. Ashman takes on the line. Well stopped. Oh, is that going to be the forward pass? No, team backwards. All right. Yes, come on, picks up and goes. He's close. And he scored. Scotland are over again. Scotland are over again. And who said they couldn't come back? They're back in the match. With a yellow card. Potentially a red. Yes, what? I mean, what the South African, amongst others, in this Scottish team. But no, good run from him. Really good. And I think it was a penalty advantage anyway. Ooh, is that double movement? He kind of moves twice. Very small, but no, not going to say anything. Oh, no, all good. Referees awarded it. So Finn Russell to add the extras and make it a 4-point ball game from what was 18. Finn Russell gets it over. It is a 4-point ball game. Cheers, Jason. I think it was, I do have a stream open to watch the rugby, and it's in 2 different tabs, but I've got the main tab that this is on highlighted. Oh. I think it's been upgraded. Yeah. Ooh. It's a red card for Xander Fagerson. They just said on the TV that they just said on the TV that Finn Russell got red carded. That was so stupid from Xander Fagerson. Why? The funny thing is that wouldn't have actually been like he didn't even hit him that hard. But it's just so stupid. Why? Okay, next thing. Do you think that's a soft red card? Or do you think, I mean, it's obviously justified based on rules, straight head to head. But what do you think? Do you think that in that scenario it was a bit harsh, or do you think, that's fully deserved? Oh, that's gonna change the entire game. Although, I mean, Scotland scored without him, so let's see what happens. I mean, maybe it'll buoy them. I hope it does. For all you non-Scottish people, this is Innocent Gun. It's a beer that I was planning on Tennant's, but to be very Scottish, but I just can't stomach it personally. Innocent Gun's quite nice if you can get your hands on some. It's worth getting, and it's brewed here in Scotland. Right, so Scotland throw into the line out. Richie Gray rises high on halfway. Ashman out the back. Tuipulotu takes on the line. Looks a bit high there. Horn to Watson. Malvaka's on for Bugarit and Wardy is on for Gros. So France are bringing the changes. Horn out the back to Finn Russell. Goes out the back to Blair Kinghorn, who steps inside. Passes into Tuipulotu, who breaks the tackle of Mofana. Horn recycles. Finn Russell swings it out to Fagerson. Tell you what, France are falling off quite a few tackles here. Oh, and France are really ringing the changes. Willems is on. Oh! The kick through. Van der Merwe almost gathers and keeps going. Almost perfect from Finn Russell. His kicks are on point today. Except that one bomb that was too deep. Yeah, I mean, Van der Merwe, even if he'd regathered, he would have run out. But still, it's just so close. And here we go. Scotland are ringing the changes as well. I think that's a whole new front row. And I think Cam Redpath's coming on. Yep, Cam Redpath is coming on. So I imagine Hugh Jones is going off. Because I think Tuipulotu is playing well. What part of Scotland am I from? I am part Scottish, and I only started living here very recently, but I live in Edinburgh, so I'm literally just a stone's throw from where this game is being played. So Cam Redpath could have played for France. That's interesting. He was born in Narbonne. That's quite an interesting story. Watson, I think, has come off. Yeah, Watson's off. And okay, so let's take a look at the subs that have come on. So Vincent's on, Willems is on. Who else is on? Dumortier's gone off for Vincent. So Cherry, Batty, and Nell are all on. Redpath's come on. I don't think Ollie Smith or Darge or Cummins have come on yet. Malvaka's already on. So there's been quite a few changes, actually. So the scrum's set. There's an elbow on the floor there from France, but it is French ball. No, free kick to Scotland. Free kick to Scotland. Okay, so here we go. Cherry on for Ashman. Batty on for Skuman, and Nell on for Watson. Oh, Watson's been subbed because of the one less man. But Scotland do not look out of this game. They're still playing with a hell of a temperament. And this is great. It's an unhelpful pass from Finn Russell to Kinghorn. Kinghorn, low pass to Darcy Graham. But Scotland still have it, and they've got a penalty advantage too. Scotland are playing amazingly right. Skuman. Sorry, Batty, not Skuman, Batty. Richie Gray takes it to the line. Scotland are 10 metres out. Horn to Finruss. No, over the top to Blair Kinghorn, who takes on Doolan, and he's in. Blair Kinghorn runs it round, and Scotland hit the lead. What is going on? This is wild. Yeah, Scotland are playing much better with 14 players. But also, France just appear to have gone to sleep. That was a horrendous tackle from Brice Doolan. But just, this game is wild. I'm glad I'm commentating this one. France must be feeling like England a couple of years ago. Tell you what, 69% of you said no, could be wrong. And to be fair, I said no as well, so I'm wrong as well. The game's not over yet. Oh, TMO, they're checking it. What do they see? What did they see? Oh, no. Darcy Graham's knocked it on. No try. Darcy Graham's knocked it on from a terrible pass. Well, initially a bad pass from Fenton Russell to Kinghorn, then Kinghorn to Darcy Graham. But it looks like Scotland might have a penalty. Yep. Oh, and Jalibert is off. So Jalibert is off, which I think means Serin is on. No, Hastoy. Hastoy is the reserve fly half, I think. Serin is the reverse scrum half. No, wait. What split are they playing? Yeah, so Serin's the scrum half. Okay. He's also playing for his part in the squad. So, Scotland will have the line out on the 5-metre line. Hopefully, they can now go and score and keep that score. Cherry through high. Scotland are looking to push over the line, but France have stopped them. There's no way that's going forward. Out the back to, I think, that's Batty, I think. Scotland have it. Finn Russell takes it to the line and gets a bit monstered. Finn Russell inside to Darcy Graham again, who gets knocked back. Horn. Redpath is screaming for it on the right, but I think the players have managed to get over now. Horn swings it wildly out the back. Oh, Kinghorn unleashes Darcy Graham. Oh, and it's another penalty to Scotland. But what a breakthrough from Darcy Graham, unleashed by Blair Kinghorn. Great track back tackle. And Batty looks like he will tap and go, and does so. Almost up to the 5 meter line. Gilchrist. Horn back inside to Nell. No, sorry, Batty. Redpath takes on the line. Darcy Graham's taking the outside. Oh, he's just brought down. Horn inside. They need fucking Tuipulotu to take a hard line here. Batty holds on to it well. Batty did really well to hold on to. No, it's been turned over by France. Are France going to go the whole field? No, Scotland win the penalty. Scotland are playing so much better in this half. This game is wild. It's insane. This is a great game to commentate on. This is genuinely exciting. And it's always these two. It's always Scotland, France. Scotland are France's bogey team. And it's usually when they've got a card. And Scotland have got the line out on the 5 meter. So let's go again. To be fair, it's the second. Yeah, it is the second time he's knocked on Evan. They were lucky to get that first try. Richie Gray rises high, takes it down. Scotland's maul set. And they've got an advantage. Scotland are going to try and drive it over here. Cherry's got the try! Scotland hit the front. And there's no way that's going to be turned up. Dave Cherry. That's an impact sub for you. And Scotland do get over, and they do take the lead for the first time in... No, sorry, not the first time. Second time in the game. They haven't led since they were up 3-0. France will be pissed. What is going on for them? But what a game. What a game to be watching this live. I have a few friends that are live at the game, and I'm very jealous of them right now. And also I mean, I'm not totally neutral. I do support Scotland over France. But neither of them are my team. So this would be a really good game to go and watch. So Finn Russell, can he extend it to 3 points? And really make this an interesting game, or as if it's not already. Finn Russell has... Oh, it's off the pole. It stays a 1 point game. It stays a 1 point game, but wow, Scotland have done well to get themselves back into this. And it's actually, this happens fairly often where a team gets a red card and suddenly they're just better. It's so strange. So France kick off quickly. Taken in quickly by Fagerson. Horn at the back of the ruck. It looks like he might... Nope. Off to Darge? Yeah, Darge. Viopia nil. Back in Viopia. Horn. Box kicks this time. And it's not a great kick, that one. Not even out. And France have claimed it through... I can't remember his name. The double-barreled BB guy. I can never remember his name. Hey, Juanita Truta, welcome to the FS Members Club. Legend. Oh, Scotland have turned over through Redpath and then lost it. And that will be a penalty? Or is it a knock-on? Knock-on. Knock-on from France first, so it's Scotland's ball. Oh, I hope Scotland go and win this game. That looked a bit high there from Hugh Jones. That was an unsympathetic pass from Hugh Jones. I'll give him that. He blitzed that into him. Ah, as I thought, Scotland knocked on first. So it's actually a French scrum. Referees corrected it. Possession in the last 10 minutes, 93% to Scotland. France have not been able to play. And that just shows, keep the ball away from the opposition, you will probably win. You can't do anything without the ball. Scotland have completely turned this game on its head. I think just this preparation for this scrum is the longest period of play that France have had it in the second half. Okay, so France have got the ball off the back through Yanga. Sorry, is it Yang? No, it's Tanga. Moefana with a good charge up the middle of the field. Oh, and this is looking dangerous. Oh, Darcy Graham picks up well. Darcy Graham's dealt with that really well. But Scotland are not tidying it up, and it could be a turnover. No, Scotland have managed to tidy it up just. Ferguson breaks off the back. Stopped instantly, going absolutely nowhere. Horn. Horn's got it at the back. He's calling more forwards in to create the caterpillar. Is he going to box kick? Yep. Horn box kicks. Not a good box kick. He didn't even get it out of zone 22. Let's not forget Scotland playing number 1. No, isn't Ireland number 1? Ireland's ranked number 1. But I know what you mean. Who's that? Oh, Baptiste Serrin. Okay. So Serrin is now on the field. He's come on, replacing Quilo, which is good for me because it's an easier name to say. But Quilo, I think, had a very good first half. He's been non-existent in the second half. But... Hey, next poll. You guys, do you think Scotland can get out of their World Cup pool? That's what I want to know from you guys. Yeah, I thought so, Neil. No, Ferguson's red card wasn't deserved. Interesting. Few people said no. It was deserved, it was just stupid. Serrin recycles. There we go, the poll's up. Get your votes in. Do you think Scotland is getting out of that World Cup pool? And then in the chat, if you think they are, who are they beating? South Africa or Ireland or both? And it's a bit of ping pong here. And Blair Kinghorn, while tumbling backwards, is called the mark. Ooh, interesting. So far, the split is... okay, there we go. We'll see what the end result is. We'll see what the end result is. Ireland's here, hopefully. You think Scotland can beat SA? Ooh, that's not a good kick. And France will play it back. Brice Dulin. He's running it back at them. Good tackle there from, I believe, Redpath. Wardy runs into Nell. Serrin to Hastoy. France are actually being able to play with the ball now, so they'll enjoy this for a bit. Oh, crossing. Penalty to Scotland. Pin them down in their half. This is France's C team. I'd say it's a B- team. I wouldn't say C team. I'd say it's a B- team. Because it's got some A first team players, a lot of B team players, and then 2 starters, 2 debutants. So Scott Cummins is on for Gilchrist. I think that's the only Scottish change at the moment. So Scotland Finn Russell takes play just outside France's 22. And if they can now pin France here for a long time. This is looking good for Scotland. Although I really don't want to give commentators curse. It's a thing. It's a thing. Scotland set them all off the line out. And it's going forwards. They're in the 22. But they have to... okay, good. And Horn to Redpath. Redpath steps inside. But he's tackled. Where's Horn? Horn... and it's a penalty to Scotland. Take the 3. Take the 3. Oh, there could be a card here. No, I think it'll be a warning. I think there's going to be a warning for France here. Yeah, it's a warning. I think the next penalty will be a card. So I think Scotland have to take the 3 here. They have to go 4 points clear. Yep, they're taking a shot, and I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying anything. I'm an England supporter. I know what I know what hoping too soon is all about. Especially against Scotland, actually. So we're gonna play this game out and see what happens. Finn Russell, predicted kick success, 93. Historical kick success, all kickers, 91. So basically, he should get it. And Finn Russell, straight through the middle. Perfect. 25-21. France have to score a try. Yeah, I'd like to see the penalty count now, Adam. You're right. I'm not sure what the stat is right now, but I'm sure they'll show us soon. Quickly taken kickoff, but Scotland secured it. They'll play a bit of a forward rumble. Horn to Finn Russell, who launches a high cross kick. And Kinghorn's tapped it back for Darcy Graham, but he's now held up. No, he's done well to get to ground there. Dodge off the Cherry. Horn. Finn Russell, another kick, changes direction. Straight down the throat of Dulan. But then he returns it straight to Duan. And he calls the mark. No, it's not. It's Finn Russell. And Finn Russell calls the mark. God, how the hell can I get those two confused? Both teams looking good at... No, I mean... Thing is, this French team with their first-string players, totally different. Finn Russell's kick does not find touch. Brice Dulan runs it back straight into a bunch of forwards in Ferguson and Cherry. Malvaca takes on Vierbiernel. France looking to play a bit more of an expansive game now. And Gaillon, is his name Gaillon? Gaiton decides to kick it through, trying to get Scotland into their own half. And the weird thing is, in this game, the underperformers for France are actually their first-string players. Like McAloo and Woki, both decisively average. I mean, yes, Woki scored a try, but the debutants did well. Oh, it's a knock-on off the line out from Scotland, and that's the last thing they'll want. Adam with a big call there that that Finn Russell's the best fly half in the world. I'd say on his day, he can do anything. He really can. I'd say his inconsistency lets him down. And that's the only reason why I would say he's not the best fly half in the world. Someone who's more consistent is. Blair Kinghorn, man of the match. Fair. He's played well. France have coughed up 13 pens, according to ESPN. Shit. That's a bit more than the same as what they did in the first half. But they had all the possession in the first half, so it didn't matter. Saran feeds the scrum. And passes. France are looking to... Oh, through the new man. I'm just going to call him BB, okay? Because I cannot keep pronouncing his name. Oh, Redpath could be in trouble here. Nope. There's no arm out. So it's still Malvaca with a good run there. Woki to Willemse. Scotland are calling numbers across because they are... France have got a good... Oh, lucky. That was almost a stupid penalty to give away from Cummins. Oh, there's the advantage. But France can't win this with a penalty, so it's not such a bad thing. And there's the penalty awarded. France will go to the corner. Ooh, Finn Russell is a fabulous player. I'm not denying that. But he's inconsistent. That's my issue with him. And also arrogant. It pisses me off. But then again, yeah, I know a few English players that were very arrogant. So I get it. Ooh, this is one hell of an end to a game, though. I really hope Scotland can hold on. I really, really hope Scotland can hold on for this. A 5-meter line out to effectively end the game. There's only 2 minutes on the clock. They go to the front through Tanga, who I still don't know who he is or which club he plays for. Scotland have repelled this maul so far really, really well. But Wardy's broken off the side. That's going to be running into your own player. Yes. Refs missed that. What a hit from Scotland, though. Driven them back. Another advantage, though, to France. Saran's darted around the side. He's put a stab through. Oh, and Kinghorn's managed to kick it out. Ooh. That was a good idea from Saran. Oh, no, he actually didn't try to kick it out. He actually picked it up and then it went out. Oh, we've got a good poll on for whether Scotland will make it out of the pool or not. Interesting calls. Kinghorn saved Scotland there. What's going to happen here? France look like they might take a tap. No, they're going for a scrum. That's... Whoa. This is going to be one hell of a last 45 seconds. They have to score. They have to get a try. Come on, Scotland. Come on, Scotland. 30 seconds left. 30 seconds left of this game. France is put in. They have to score to win this game. Ooh. Ooh, this is nerve-wracking. And then we got England-Wales straight after this. Oof. Good rugby games today. Good rugby games today. We're spoilt for choice. Right, so the scrum is set. Saran is going to feed. And does so. Reset scrum, France ball. So whatever happens here, the next mistake, game over. The next point, game over. Woo. BB, I get what you mean. A safe bet, but yeah. So the scrum will be reset. Clock is in the red. Clock is in the red. Come on, Scotland. Do something amazing here. Win it with a red card. Come on. How are France looking to shape their attack? Moefana looks like he's at first receiver. Oh, it's advantage to France. Oh, will Scotland get out of the pool? 50-50 at the moment. Who's going to decide? I know I voted no. And I actually hope I'm wrong. I'd love it to be South Africa and actually I'd love it to be Ireland, Scotland. Just to annoy everyone else who does this commentating with me. What are they going for? Scrum? No. France decided to change. They're going to go for the line out. Brice Dulin takes them within 5. 2 minutes into overtime. Malvaka has to hit his man. And this maul has to be good. Wilkie takes it high. Scotland are pushing this maul to the sideline. They've broken off the side. They all forgot where the ball was. Serran feeds Willemse, who runs over Finn Russell. Hastoy steps back inside. Serran feeds Malvaka. Cherry puts him down. Oh, that looked dangerous. Scotland have won the penalty! Yes! Cam Redpath has got the turnover and won the game for Scotland. Yes, Scotland! Oh, what lads. And Darge. Darge had his hands in there as well. And Scotland have won the game with a red card. 18 points down at half-time. What a game to commentate on. Oh, that makes me so happy. I wish I was at the game, but I was pretty happy commentating on it for you guys as well. And sudden change in the poll. More people than not think Scotland will make it out of their pool. What a comeback. What still worries me slightly is that this is Scotland's first string side. That was France's B- side. That's worrying. Absolutely amazing comeback, though. I'm not taking anything away from him. That was crazy. And Townsend is going to be very happy. Oh, brilliant. Absolute pleasure to watch that happen. And that's New Zealand must be going Finn Russell and the French, I'm guessing that must be oh, who's it? Oh, he got Wokie's one. And they're trying to get it onto him. They had to struggle to get Finn Russell's jersey onto Cameron Woki. What a game. Scotland 25, France 21. 22 unanswered points in the second half for Scotland. What a game. Yeah, let's go.